Congratulations, mate. Was there a thought of retirement, or are you going to play basketball until you're 80 years of age?
I think at my age, it's realistic that you kind of got to think about it. I definitely don't want to be playing until I'm 80, that's for sure. I still want to have knees that work. So I'm not sure if this will be my last year, but it'll certainly be pretty close to it, that's for sure.
Can you take us through just how you felt during the playoffs? Were you struggling with an injury?
No, look, the calf was a bit tight. Both were actually a bit tight, but I think I said in the post-game presser at that time of year, especially, it was a really long preseason, a really long season. I think the niggles and kind of everything were weighing in on the back end, and especially, I'm no spring chicken anymore. So, I was fine, that's for sure. But, the niggles were definitely there, as they are every year.
It looks like this team's, I know there's going to be a couple of changes, but you still got a nucleus of a really good team. Is that also a lot behind your decision-making that, Bryce is still there, Mitch is still around, Todd had a fantastic year, and you hope to get a couple more imports as well? You still think you're a title contender?
Yeah, look, for sure. Keeping that core around's been, I think, a big part of the Wildcats' success in the past. And, you mentioned off some names there, and that's a pretty good core to start with. But in saying that, there's always changes every year. It's the harsh reality of professional sports. You lose good friends to other teams, or to retirement, or to injury, and you just kind of got to deal with it and move on. But it's, it certainly changes. But as I said, you just kind of deal with it and make do, I guess.
Just one last one from me. John Mooney, it looks like he's doing NBA Summer League, but there was also a report from someone saying that he's going to have a bit of a tryout with the Utah Jazz this week. Do you think he's got that ability to take the next step? I mean, you would have seen a lot of players come through the NBL that have made that next step. Do you think the timing's right for him, or do you think maybe he needs a year or two more in the NBL?
Oh, look, if you ask me about NBA, I'm probably the wrong bloke to ask. But, what he did in the NBL was almost unprecedented. And I think people forgot that was his first year as a pro. He's, we go through half-court shoot-around, and he's, shooting first. He's one of the youngest. He's just behind Wani and LT and, Sherville. You forget that, given that he's an import, he's coming in and he's doing those things on the court. So, I think he's definitely got an extremely bright future in front of him. On top of what he was doing on the court, he's such a great bloke off the court as well. Great guy to have around the team. So, I hope he does. I hope he does, as good as he can in the NBA. He's definitely got the talent for it.
Craig, do you want to jump in?
Yeah, Jesse, the 400 milestone and the fact you're so close to it, did that provide any incentive for you at all? Because it's so hard to get to, and you're just a couple of games away from it now.
Yeah, look, not really. I only get reminded from Wado, every now and then what my games are, and he'll send me a text before the game. So, no, not really. As I said, it's a great organisation, the Perth Wildcats, and to play another year is. I'm privileged to do it, but in terms of notching up a milestone, that didn't really, come into it.
When you look back on the season that was, obviously it was compacted. There's more games, and there's probably going to be more games next year as well with the Jack Jumpers coming in. Did you have to weigh up how your body would handle a longer sort of season?
Yeah, look, I'm not sure what the season's going to look like. If you talk about last season that just passed, we were in preseason, and the year pretty much went for over a year. The season went for over a year, which is, exceptionally rare, more games. Then we had that period there. We played 8 in, 2 weeks or whatever it was. It was pretty crazy, but, them the breaks, and I'm sure this season will be impacted as well. But in terms of how the body feels, it felt all right. It's just, as I said, I'm no spring chicken, so I've got to load it and manage that load better. And hopefully I can do that this year too.
So with the short gap now between the two seasons, will you try to take extra time during this off season to refresh and feel better than what you normally would have when it's such a long gap between the years?
Yeah, look, it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? You don't want to get too out of shape, because then you take longer to get back into shape for preseason. So I'm not sure what I'll do. It's only been a week or so since the end of season, given that I get the countdown on the self-quarantine, so I know it's about a week. But I don't want to take too much time off because, as I said, it's too hard to ramp it up, and you ramp it up too quickly, you end up injuring yourself in pre-season. So I'll take a bit of time off, and slowly get back into it. But yeah, I'll speak to the Josh and the strength and conditioning staff and get a plan.
And as the veteran and the experienced head and the captain, have you had any one-on-one conversations with the new ownership group about what the team might need, what you'd like to be included in different things, or is that something that you might do later on if you haven't done it yet?
No, not a one-on-one. Look, those decisions are well above my pay grade, and they have been since Jack was the owner, and the board, and those decisions were not the captain's decisions or not the players' decisions. Trevor handles that side, so does Troy. They do a fantastic job, and I don't foresee anything will change.
Jesse, you spoke before the season about your role as captain and what you thought you could bring to the team. Now, a week after the season is finished, how do you reflect on your performance and also what you brought to the table as captain? Do you feel that you had a good season in that regard? Yeah,
look, I think I said before the season too, I didn't want too much to change. Obviously, there's an added responsibility, but I said before we had guys that had been around a while as well. Like even though it was his first year, at the Wildcats, he's played 350 odd NBL games, so he brings a unique perspective. Same with Whitey, he's played a similar amount of games and all around the league, and his leadership qualities are fantastic. So I didn't want too much to change. Again, new guys coming in, and the Wildcats is a special organisation and how we do things. So there's a process there, but at the same time, I didn't want too much to change, and nothing really did. You got Bryce, you got Nordo, you got Clint. You got guys that've been at Wildcats a while and know what to expect and know what the standards are. And then Trev running the ship too. So I was happy with it. Helps winning, of course. But obviously it would have been nice to get one better.
Was there, with the contract extension, any discussion about continuing on in that role, or is that a decision that'll be made sort of closer to the start of the next season?
Nah, look, again, it's the same every season. With Trev, it's a player vote in pre-season, usually the pre-season tournament or the Blitz, and I assume nothing will change again. Yeah.
You're bracing for more of an interstate raid from the Jack Jumpers more than what has already happened?
Yeah, look, I'm not sure. I try to stay out of that kind of stuff. It's a very personal decision. Leaving or staying, I think the decision, well, for me anyway, it's more the basketball. It's you got to consider your family, you got to consider the situation, the timing, everything. So I try to stay out of those decisions. Hopefully they don't take too many though, but Clinton will certainly be missed.
And as captain, how much of a boost is it with yourself re-signing Mitch, just for continuity and keeping the crux of the group together as you push to go one better next year?
Yeah, look, I think, rightfully so, Nordo was one of the most coveted free agents out there. What he brings defensively, leadership capability, you saw at the end of the season offensively as well. So he was a huge key. It's the same since I've been at the Wildcats too. Damo was a huge key, and Nordo plays that role, just the same as Damo. So keeping him is huge. 3 years, phenomenal deal. It's good for him. It's good for the club. Yeah.